Hare Krishna, thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. We're going to discuss the IA-77 initiation after 1977, how Prabhupada instituted this initiation and he gave us this letter that was started, this question was raised in May 28th. May 28th in 1977. We'll go to this letter. So this is conversation, May 28, 1977 in Vrindavan. So Satsvarup Maharaj is asking, Das Goswami, then our next question concerns initiation in the future, particularly at the time when you are no longer with us. We want to know how first and second initiation would be conducted. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, I shall recommend some of you, after this is settled up, I shall recommend some of you to act as officiating Acharya. Tamala Krishna Goswami, is that called Ritvik Acharya? Srila Prabhupada, Ritvik, yes. See, this very important here, the word Prabhupada uses Ritvik. There's no such thing as a Ritvik Acharya. So Prabhupada is very, correct in his usage of the word. Ritvik means a representative, doing it on behalf, or in other words, officiating. This is the meaning, to act as an officiating Acharya. And that's the meaning of Ritvik. But there's no such word as Ritvik Acharya. This is a misnomer. So then Satsvarup continued, what is the relationship of that person who gives the initiation? Now, if you give initiation, then you are not a Ritvik. And Prabhupada saying his guru. Then Satsvarup said, but he does it on your behalf. Yes, that's formality, because in my present one should not become guru. So this is a very important point. If one guru is around, you cannot become a guru. You must bring your prospective devotee to your guru so that he gets connected. You should not take him as your disciple. This is etiquette, maryada, etiquette. So then Prabhupada said, yes, that's a formality, because in my present you should not become guru. So on my behalf, on my order, Amara Ajnana Guru Hanai, he is actually guru. So you see, here again Prabhupada using another word, actually guru. When means one becomes guru when he is ordered by his guru. See this word, on my order. Then he is actually guru, you see. So, but again Prabhupada using the word, but by my order. In other words, to become a guru, you must be ordered by your spiritual master. Otherwise, you cannot become a guru. And you can see, mind you, we are going back again. The question was, then our next question is, question concerning initiation in the future, particularly at a time when you are no longer with us. We want to know how first and second initiation will be conducted. So that is the question. So Prabhupada is recommending them to act as officiating Acharya, and that is called Ritvik. So now again, Prabhupada is saying, if you want to become guru, actually guru, you must be ordered, but by order. So on the order of Prabhupada, you can become guru. So now we can go on. So Satsvarup is saying, so they then may be considered your disciples. Srila Prabhupada, yeah, they are disciples, but Prabhupada is considered who, so he's surprised, but he's talking about who. So he's mixing up the Ritvik representative officiating Acharya and a regular guru. So he's confused, because mind you, They joined the movement in 1965, 66, whatever, and now it's 77, a good 11 years. So you see how naive they are in understanding even the meaning of officiating Acharya. So he's so confused. And he's saying, actually, the real thing is that they all want to become gurus after Prabhupada. That was the disease. So, no, Tamala Krishna steps in and he is asking that this Ritvik, again use the word Ritvik Acharya. There's no such word. So he is again playing with the word. They are officiating, see, but he says they are officiating. That means they're acting and giving diksha. The people they give diksha, whose disciple? Now Prabhupada hearing is this line. They are giving diksha, whose disciple are. Prabhupada said they are his disciple. Naturally, you Ritvik cannot give diksha. Right? Diksha is given by the Guru. So therefore Prabhupada said that he is his disciple. Then here Prabhupada adding the disciple is the one who is initiating. So in other words, a person who is a Guru who initiates, they become his disciple. Then Tamal is surprised here again, they are his disciple. And Prabhupada is then clarifying who is initiating. Now he's talking about who is initiating. And they are his grand disciples. In other words, if a person becomes a regular guru, if he initiates, then yes, they become grand disciple of Prabhupada. That's correct. So Satsvarup said, yes, that's clear. No, then Prabhupada is not finished with this whole thing. Then we have a question. No, Prabhupada is continuing. Actually, in the tape, he is not hearing all this thing. He goes on to say, when I order you to become guru, you become guru. He becomes regular guru. That's all. He and becomes disciple of my disciple. That's a fact. When Prabhupada order you, but the order was not given. The order is only given to become an officiating Acharya. The order was not become a regular guru. There was no such order. In fact, they are asking in the future what to do initiation. Prabhupada say officiating Acharya. And then even more future tense. When I order you, then you become disciple of my disciple. You know, he become regular guru. Then he becomes regular guru. Then the disciple become Prabhupada disciple, grand disciple, whatever. But the order was not given. Actually, there was no order. Up to today, there is no such order. So, but the gurus are hopping on this conversation, taking this, meaning that this is the order to become regular gurus. So this is the biggest mistake. This is a meeting which was a discussion. It was not even some discussion only. So when people discuss, Prabhupada will not issue a big statement on some discussion. He will put it in paper. He will pen it down. So here we will go to what transpired after this. After this, what transpired, we'll see here. There was a meeting, a July 9 letter was issued. Yes, here. This is a July 9 letter. You can see this was issued. And you can see here in this letter, this is the original letter, in July 9, 77. And you can see, I want to highlight these 2 points here. You can see here, this is a letter with Prabhupada's signature here and Tamala Krishna's signature there. So in other words, this becomes an official document. It's no more a letter. It's not the July 9 letter, it's a July 9 document. So now we'll go back to the readable format. So you see what actually is inside this letter. You can see here the readable format. Now here in this one, we can see so it is ISKCON International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The founder Acharya is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. You can see July 9, 1977, to all GBC and temple presidents, dear Maharaj and Prabhus, please accept my humble obeisances at your feet recently when all the GBC members were with His Divine Grace in Vrindavan. So this is referring to the meeting of May 28, 1977. Srila Prabhupada indicated that soon he would appoint some of his senior disciples to act as Ritvik representative of Acharya. This is the spelling of the Bengali version. Ritvik, they speak like that, but actually it's Ritvik in Sanskrit. And the meaning is given here, which is very important. The representative of the Acharya for the purpose of performing initiation, both first initiation and second initiation. So that was the question asked, how to do first and second in the future. So the same meeting is referred to here. So His Divine Grace has so far given a list of 11 disciples who will act in that capacity. You see, very important here, acting in that capacity. They are not regular, they are just acting. So here the names are spelled out. So you can see all their names here. In the past, temple presidents have returned to Srila Prabhupada recommending a particular devotee's initiation. Now that Srila Prabhupada has named his representatives, temple president may henceforward, another very important word, this word is used to indicate from now onwards, it's also legally used, send recommendation for first and second initiation to whichever of these 11 representatives are nearest. You see another important point, nearest the temple. In other words, anyone can be near the temple and anyone can do this ceremony. It is not given to one particular person in one particular temple or one person to to be designated to give to certain area. No, it is whoever is nearest. This completely defeats the zonal Acharya system that was that prevailed after this. So you can see very clearly here nearest. So when you actually take guru, then it is the heart. Whoever heart you give to, then yes, you surrender to the person. But here it is not a question of giving the heart. It's whoever is nearest the temple. This is the point. Whoever is near. So this clearly shows they are acting on behalf. They are not regularly a regular guru or whatever. After recommendation, after considering the recommendation, the representative may accept the devotees as an initiated disciple. This is very important of Srila Prabhupada. You see this point here again? They are acting on behalf of Prabhupada and they are going to give this initiation on behalf of Prabhupada, and the disciple, it becomes a disciple of Prabhupada. See very clearly, it's very clear. By giving a spiritual name, or in this case of second initiation, by chanting on the Gayatri Kran, just as Srila Prabhupada has done. The newly initiated, again, second time it is mentioned here, the newly initiated disciple devotees are disciples of the Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Again, this is clearly indicated that they are, second time mentioned that they are disciples of Prabhupada. The 11 senior devotees acting on as his representative, again, they are acting, they are not regular gurus, they are acting as his representative, After the temple president receives a letter from this representative giving the spiritual name of that, he can perform the fire yagya in the temple as was been done before. That means it's already been done. We are going to just carry on. The newly initiated, this again, another time it is mentioned here, the newly initiated disciple should be, the name of the newly initiated disciple should be sent by the representative who has accepted him or her to Srila Prabhupada, to be included in his Divine Grace Initiated Disciple book. See again, third time it is mentioned that the person is Srila Prabhupada disciple. Something that is said 3 times, it has to be taken seriously. You cannot try to think that this is a stopgap measure because Prabhupada is sick. No, the question was particularly when he was no longer here with us. And Prabhupada already said in the 28 May 1977 meeting that yes, I will appoint some of you to act on my behalf. So again, he's writing this down, and this letter is very, very, what we say, a document is so strong, and it was addressed to all the temples and to all the GBCs. You see this? So it is not some as many of them claim that this letter is it is not it's not to be continued after Srila Prabhupada passes away or what. It's completely bogus. There's no what we say credibility in that kind of a what we say notion. This clearly shows here that what Prabhupada wanted, how initiation should be done, particularly when he's no longer here with us. And he appointed 11 of them to act on his behalf, and whoever they initiate, they will be Prabhupada's disciples. This is what it says here. Now, some may still doubt this. All right, then we'll see. Now we will go to Prabhupada's will. Now let's see what Prabhupada's will is saying about. See, this is the Srila Prabhupada's will. You can see here, this was prepared in June 1977. Right, you can see here. So we will go to the readable format again. This is the will of Prabhupada. All right, here, so that's the readable format. Just make it a bigger bit. All right, here we are. So you can see here, IAC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the date June 1977, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, settler of the Bhaktivedanta book class, and disciple Om Vishnupad 1083 Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, presently residing in Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, make this my last will. So this is Prabhupada's will. You can see that. So many of you may not have seen this. I don't know. This is not very much exposed to the most of the devotees. So anyway, we are going to find out what exactly Prabhupada wanted here. The governing body commission, called the GBC, will be the ultimate managing authority of the entire International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In other words, the GBC will be the managing authority. Now, when we put in the guru figure inside here, then the GBC cannot be the managing authority, because the gurus will then take over the life of the disciple. And the disciple has to be managed by the gurus. It cannot be managed by the GBC, because the GBC is the ultimate managing authority, means he goes even above any other authority. So if you introduce a guru thing in society, then the GBC doesn't become an ultimate managing authority. This goes against Prabhupada's will. Now again, Prabhupada is saying in the second line, each temple will be an ISKCON property and will be managed by 3 executive directors. That means the temple president, the secretary, and the treasurer. The system management will continue as is now, and there's no need of any change. So Prabhupada never wanted to put anything in this 3 management system, the 3 executive directors, president, secretary, and treasurer, and Prabhupada, there's no change. Now if I bring in a guru again figure inside, then I'm changing. So first line Prabhupada said, the GBC ultimate authority. Second line he said, you don't change. That means we cannot bring in any other system than what Prabhupada has originally given us. Now, coming to the third point. Properties in India will be managed by the executive directors, and you see property in Mayapur, you have some people there, and like that. Now, we'll go down to this point. The executive directors have been herein designated for life. In the event of death or failure to act for any reason of the said director, a successor director or directors may be appointed by the remaining directors, provided, this is a very important thing, the new director is my initiated disciple, following the rules and regulations of the International Society. Now, I would like to highlight on this very, very important word. This is called, he is my initiated disciple. That means, now let's say all these directors, I'm sure you also know they are pretty old, and many of them are leaving the body, and many things can happen. So now who is going to replace them? If they're only Prabhupada disciples are to be the executive directors, then if all of them passes away, then who will be the next in line? Obviously, there's nobody. And then what happens if the property has got no proper directors? Then it has to be, it makes a little strange. How would Prabhupada want to write something like that? So then, this word, my initiated disciple, can only come about if the Ritvik system of initiation is introduced to society. Then everybody becomes a Prabhupada disciple. Now, this is a very, very important point. That means Prabhupada never wanted any gurus to step in on the ladder. No, Prabhupada never wanted that. Now here Prabhupada is indicating. Now in the draft that was prepared by Giriraj Maharaj, in that draft he wrote an initiated disciple. Now Prabhupada looked at that and he said, no, this word has to be carefully chosen. So he changed the draft from an initiated disciple to my initiated disciple. Obviously, it is not some kind of a mistake on behalf of Prabhupada. It is clear indication that he wanted the Ritvik system of initiation to continue on. So someone may say that was July 9 was like a stopgap measure because Prabhupada was sick, and yes. No. From this view, we can see that he never wanted any other system other than the Ritvik system of initiation. It's very clear. So now we are going to show you another piece of evidence. What is what we say, the role of the GBC here. The role of the GBC is very clearly spelled out by Prabhupada. You can see resolve. This is the definition, the GBC resolution meeting in minutes in 1975. Resolve. The GBC Governing Body Commission has been established by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to represent him in carrying out the responsibility of managing the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, of which he is the founder, Acharya, and supreme authority. The GBC accepted his life and soul as divine instruction and recognized that it is completely dependent on his mercy in all respects. The GBC has no further function or purpose other than to execute the instructions so kindly given by his divine grace and preserve and spread his teaching to the world in its pure form. You see here, the GBC has to it depend on the instruction given by Prabhupada. The GBC is not meant for changing its instruction. The GBC has no other function or purpose other than to execute the instruction. They are not there for changing instruction, modifying this, that. No, they are only to upheld his instruction. Unfortunately, this has been transgressed. Inside the society is going through so many problems. Now, you may then ask, but Prabhupada said, so many things in the past. Prabhupada said, that everybody can be, guru, and, they show so many letters dating in 1966. Prabhupada said, yes, everyone can become a guru and whatnot. So you can see here in this conversation, again, I'm going to get this a little bit bigger. I may say many things to you, but when I say something directly, do it. Your first duty is to do that. You cannot argue. Sir, you said me like this before. No, that's not your duty. What I say now, you do it. This is obedience. You cannot argue. Srila Prabhupada lecture in Hyderabad in 15 April 1975. So you can see here, this is a very important point. So we cannot argue on anything that Prabhupada has given. So after the July 9 document, 1977, there is no other instruction to, change that. No, there's henceforward, there's no other instruction. So we cannot come to Prabhupada and say, no, you told me like this before in 1966 that I can become guru and this and that. It doesn't hold. Prabhupada said here very clearly, if I tell you to do now, you do that. Sir, you said me like this before. No, that's not your duty. What I say now, you do it. This is obedience. You cannot argue. Again, Prabhupada is stressing. So you see how important these points are, You cannot try to invent new things, and try to put words into Prabhupada's mouth. That's not possible. So now we are going to I show you the April 22nd conversation. You can see here in this conversation. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you see here, Srila Prabhupada. This is April 22nd, 1977, a conversation between Tamala Krishna and Srila Prabhupada in Bombay. I told him that you cannot do so independent. You are doing nice, but do not do it in admit. People complain against Hamsadutta. Did you know that? I'm not sure of the Tamala Krishna. I'm not sure of the particular incident, but I've heard general. Srila Prabhupada in Germany, Tamala Krishna devotees there, so many complaints. Therefore, change is good, Tamala Krishna. No, Srila Prabhupada, no, you become Guru, but you must be qualified first of all. Then you become Guru. Oh, Tamala Krishna, oh, that kind of complaint was there. Did you know that? Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, Tamala Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, what is the use of producing a rascal Guru? Tamala Krishna, well, I have studied myself and all your disciples. It is a clear fact that we are all conditioned souls. So we cannot be Guru. Maybe one day it may be possible. But not now. And Prabhupada said, yes, I shall choose some Guru. I shall say, now you become Acharya, you become authorized. I'm waiting for that. You become all Acharya, I retire completely. But the training must be complete. So now you see, here, 22nd of April, 1977, Tamala Krishna is admitting that there's nobody qualified to become Guru. He's qualifying here, nobody, right? Then, in the moment Prabhupada leaves the planet in 14th November 1977, then everybody the next very day, they become uttama-adhikari of the highest order. So in a good, April to May, June, July, August, September, October, November, that's 7 months. So in good 7 months, they have become immediately, the very next day, uttama-adhikari of the highest order. So does it make any logical sense? Does it make any logical sense? It's outright cheating. This is blatant cheating, destroying the lives of many, many, many souls. So now let's go to further evidences on this point. In 1980, there was a confession by Tamala Krishna himself. Tamala Krishna himself confessed to this. Tamala Krishna Maharaj, this is December 3rd, 1980. Because he was removed from the position of Guru. So he then, started to speak the truth. Actually, what transpired. Tamala Krishna Maharaj, I had certain realization a few years ago. There are obviously so many statements by Srila Prabhupada that his Guru Maharaj did not appoint any successors. Even in Prabhupada books, he says Guru means by qualification. The inspiration came because there was a question on my part. So Krishna spoke. Actually, Prabhupada never appointed any gurus. You see this point here? He's admitting Prabhupada never appointed any gurus. He appointed Ritviks, He never appointed them gurus. Myself and other GBC have done the greatest disservice to this movement the last 3 years because we interpreted the point of Ritviks as the point of Guru. See this point? What actually happened, I'll explain it, but the interpretation is wrong. What actually happened was that Prabhupada mentioned he might be appointing some Ritviks. So the GBC met for various reasons and they went to Prabhupada, 5 or 6 of us. This refers to the meeting of May 28, 1977. We asked him, Srila Prabhupada, after your departure, if we accept this, who disciple will be, yours or mine? Later on, there was a pile of list of people to get initiated, and it was jammed up. I said, Srila Prabhupada, you mentioned about Ritvik. I don't know what to do. We don't want to approach you, but there are hundreds of devotees there. I'm just holding all little. I don't know what to do. All right, I'll appoint so many. He started to name them. Made it clear that they are his disciples. Again, he made it clear. He made it clear that they are his disciples. Right? In my mind, at this point, it's very clear in my mind that they were his disciples. So, see here again. So, this is a confession by the person who wrote that July 9 letter, a secretary who was serving Prabhupada. So, he never appointed anyone to become guru. See, he appointed 11 to officiate. Therefore, he appointed 11 officiating priests to initiate on his behalf. He appointed 11 and he said very clearly, whoever is nearest he can initiate. This is a very important point. I've already explained. It's a very important point. This is because when it comes to initiating, if it isn't whoever is nearest, it is wherever your heart goes. Who you repose your faith on, you take initiation from him. But when it's officiating, it is whoever is nearest, and it was very clear. He named them. They were spread out all over the world. Whoever you are nearest. So then, they initiate on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. So, that is how the order was given. So he admitted Tamal. He's saying in this letter. And see here again he says, I can definitely say for myself, for which I humbly beg forgiveness from everybody, that there was definitely some degree of trying to control. This is the condition, nature, and it came out in the highest position of all. Guru, oh, wonderful. Now I am Guru, and there's only 11 of us. I feel that this realization or this understanding is essential if we were to avoid further things from happening, because believe me, it's going to happen, going to repeat. It's just a question of time until things have a little faded out again. Another incident will happen, whether it is in LA or somewhere else. It's going to continuously happen until you allow the actual spiritual force of Krishna to be exhibited without restriction. So he says it does not exist because he never appointed any guru. This is a myth. So now it's very clear that, we have Prabhupada's directive, and we have one of the most senior secretaries who actually prepared the letters admitting the real standing, and you see how the evidence is all piling up to prove that everyone is a Prabhupada disciple. Now, I have shown you the evidences. Now let's go to the sastric, evidence, sastric. Now we go to sastra. So now we're going to touch on this very first verse. It's in 434. I'm sure you all know about this verse. I very often quoted by, practically everybody knows this by heart. So, tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva-darshinaha. I want to highlight this verse as tattva-darshinaha. The word tattva-darshina means, it translated here, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The civilized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Now, here, approaching, this is always misinterpreted to be approaching a spiritual master who is living. Now, this is how everyone is perceiving it. But actually, spiritual master, there is no question of living. Spiritual master is eternal. See, this is again is confirmed here in another part here. I just want to show you a conversation. can see here in this conversation, Madhudvisa. Is there any way for a Christian to, without the help of spiritual master, to reach the spiritual sky through believing the words of Jesus Christ and trying to follow his teachings? Prabhupada, I don't follow. Tamala Krishna. Can a Christian in this age, without a spiritual master, but by reading the Bible and following Jesus' words, reach the Srila Prabhupada? When you read the Bible, you follow spiritual master. How can you say without? As soon as you read Bible, that means you are following the instruction of Lord Jesus Christ. That means you are following spiritual master. So where is the opportunity of being without spiritual master? Mother Duisa, I was referring to a living spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master is not the question of. Spiritual master is eternal. Spiritual master is eternal. So your question is without spiritual master. Without spiritual master, you cannot be at any stage of your life. You may accept this spiritual master or that master. That's a different thing. But you have to accept. As you say, by reading Bible. When you read Bible, that means you're following the spiritual master represented by some priest or some clergyman in the line of Lord Jesus Christ. This was a morning walk in 2nd, I think, October 1968, Seattle. So now, we are going back again to our... So here you can see from this talk that the spiritual master is eternally living. There's no question of the spiritual master, material spiritual master. Spiritual means already spiritual, is not matter. So now, we'll go back to the Bhagavad Gita. So when we are approaching a spiritual master, we are approaching him, we approach him for knowledge. Spiritual master is not the body, right? Now let me go back again to this verse. Here in the parampara, this verse that Krishna spoke, evam parampara-praptam emam rajurishu viduha sa kalineha mata yoga nasta parantapa. Now let us look at the translation. I want to highlight this word. Vidhu means knowledge, yoga means linking. So let us see what Krishna is saying here. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of the disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So now again, see that the kings understood, that means they heard, right? And the science is knowledge, as it is appears to be lost. Now Krishna never used the word, here you can see he used the word yoga nasta. He used the word yoga nasta. Yoga nasta. See? He never say sarira nasta. Sarira means body in Sanskrit. So he never used the word body is broken. He used the word the science, the knowledge is lost. That's what it means. So in other words, you are approaching the spiritual master for knowledge. You are not approaching him in the bodily concept. So that has to be clearly understood. So when we speak about receiving knowledge, we are receiving knowledge from the spiritual master. We are not going to see him by his bodily platform. That is not, because the fact that many of the disciples at that time of Prabhupada, they got initiated from him and they never even saw him. And does it mean that they are bogus because they didn't see him? That doesn't make sense. So here, now again, we're going to speak about this word, self-realized soul. Now, what is the meaning of self-realized soul? Now, if you say you approach any Tom, Dick and Harry who have been voted in by some classical body, does it mean that they are self-realized soul? What is the definition of a self-realized soul? Now, for this, Krishna has spoken in chapter 6, text 29. You can see here. And this verse, Krishna is qualifying a self-realized soul. See the word? A true yogi observes me in all being and also sees every being in me. And this self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. So here, self-realized soul sees the Lord. And not only sees him in the heart, he sees him everywhere. In other words, he is talking to Krishna, he is seeing Krishna. That's the definition Krishna is speaking of a self-realized soul. It's not some kind of a appointment. It's not some kind of a person who is a Prabhupada and therefore he is qualified to become a guru. This is not clearly the case because Krishna is speaking about a self-realized soul imparting knowledge. And that knowledge, again, what is that knowledge? Again, see, here the knowledge is described here as yajnatva punar moham. This is very important. This knowledge once you get, then you don't go again into Maya. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. So in other words, Krishna is speaking about a self-realized soul, a uttama-adhikari of the highest order. He's not speaking about some, someone who just artificially imitated that position. A self-realized soul, he gives you transcendental knowledge, real knowledge. That's one thing. So when you go to a realized person, he gives you knowledge. And not only knowledge, he also relieves you from all sinful reaction. That's the meaning of a pure devotee. So, diksha, when you take from a pure devotee, there's two words, divya gyan and chirpati. Divya gyan means giving you transcendental knowledge, and chirpati means removing all your sins. And that's clearly exactly what Krishna is saying here. Again, you can see in this verse, as blazing fire turns fire to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reaction to material activities. In other words, the spiritual master is also removing all the sinful activities of the disciple. See, this is an important point, because without removing the sins of the disciple, it is very difficult for him to become fixed up in devotional service, as this is confirmed again. And in other words, you can see here, this is said by Krishna again in this verse, very popular verse, yesam anta-gatam papam jananam punyakarmanam tedvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dattavataha. So here you see Krishna is saying persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are free from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. This can only come about if we are actually freed from all sinful reaction by taking shelter of pure devotee. So when we are freed from all sinful reaction by initiation and we are given transcendental knowledge, then we can actually enter into devotional service. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to get into this. This is very important. If we do not know this, then how we can, make spiritual advancement. So now we are going again to another verse. So here in this verse, but ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. If we are accepting someone who is not in the pure level, then there might be doubt in our heart. So when we do not accept the word of Krishna, naturally we will get doubts. And when we get doubts, then there is no happiness in this world nor in the next. So for the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. You cannot practice Krishna consciousness when you are full of doubts. You understand? This question was again asked by Krishna to Arjuna. Are your doubts all clear? And Arjuna replied, yes, I am totally free from all my doubts. Now I am prepared to act as what you are. I shall act according to your word. See here? Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instruction. See this word, free from doubt. Understand this point? Free from doubt. Then he can act according to the instruction of the Lord. Now, if we have doubts, then it's very difficult for us to make any form of spiritual advancement. Now, again, we want to go and show you what is the position of an uttama-adhikari. We have to read that, we have to know that, because otherwise we act in a very deviant manner, then we lose everything. So I'm going to go to this point here. This is the nectar of instruction, Upadesa verse number 5. Right, here we see here. This is spoken by Rupa Goswami. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanistha-adhikari, Madhyama-adhikari, and Uttama-adhikari. Kanistha means third class, Madhyama means second class, and Uttama means topmost class. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee on a higher platform. That's again another important point. We cannot artificially try to take up a position that we are not there. And when we do that, we will fall down. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us some practical hints to the effect that an uttama-adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. This is exactly what Srila Prabhupada is doing. He is still converting so many souls to become devotees. That means he is on the topmost platform. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of uttama-adhikari. Again, another serious point. A neophyte Vaishnava or Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform and should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, disciples should be careful to accept an uttama-adhikari as a spiritual master. See here, it is clearly given, directed. One cannot accept anybody other than an uttama-adhikari as the spiritual master. So now, if you go to a third-class person, now what happens? What happens if you go to a third-class person? Let's also find that out. You can see here in the Bhagavad Gita. This is from the Bhagavad Gita. This is mentioned here. See here. As far as development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first-class person in Krishna consciousness. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna bhakti or service to Krishna is the best cause, and so in good faith have taken it up. They are thus they are superior to third class who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith by association and simplicity are trying to follow. So this is very important here. I just want to highlight that for you. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class, it does not fall down. And for the first class person in Krishna consciousness, there is no question or chance of falling down. So you see this point. So if you accept a third class person, he is going to fall down. And when you fall down, then your faith gets shattered. So many problems. This is what's happening with our so-called gurus in ISKCON nowadays. Many are falling down, and as a result, the faith is shattered. So therefore it is warned in Nectar of Instruction that one should not accept a third-class person as a spiritual master. This is detrimental. So now, having understood this, we are going to show you another verse. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Members of the renounced order who fail to uproot the last traces of material desire in their heart remain impure, and thus you do not allow them to understand you. Very clear. Those who are in the renounced order who have taken up this position, if they have contamination in the heart, attraction for Maya, then Krishna never allowed them to understand them and never allowed them to understand Krishna. Although you are present within their heart, for them you are like a jewel worn around the neck of a man who has totally forgotten it is there. O Lord, those who practice yoga only for sense gratification must suffer punishment both in this life and the next. From that you will not release them, and from you whose kingdom they cannot reach. Here you see, if a person who is in the renounced order or in a very particular position, leadership, trying to impress on others as a big time guru, but in his heart he has got many material desires, then you see his position very pathetic. He cannot go back, he cannot get knowledge, he is going to suffer punishment this life, next, and from that he cannot escape, and he cannot even go back home, back to Godhead. So imagine you are taking shelter of such a person, what would be your consequence? Very drastic. So therefore, we have to be very careful that we follow the right person. But then you may argue, I'm sincerely doing my thing, whatever happens to him is another thing. You can see here, again, another very important point to understand. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of distraction as described in the previous verse are in fact boarding a stone boat. And so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell and their followers go with them. See this point? If we cannot plead ignorance, we try to, do otherwise, then, we are also similarly entangled. See that? Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell and their followers go with them. It's a very dangerous position. So we should be very careful in trying to associate with this upstarts who are not qualified, acting like, uttama-adhikaris, and they are going to fall down, already fallen, because when you disobey Prabhupada's instruction, you're considered fallen. And you follow them, then what will be our position? Very dangerous. Because after so many lives we have come to spiritual life, and here we do not want to take a very genuine person as Srila Prabhupada as our Guru, which he has actually asked us to, and then what we are trying to prove? Sentiment cannot go. We have to have sound sastric backing. Then only we can, move forward in our spiritual life. Shastra, sadhu, and guru. Sadhus can make mistake, guru can make mistake, but shastra cannot make mistake. That we have to understand this. So again, also same thing has been proven here in another verse, that Ishopanishad, you can see here. Then there's Ishopanishad mantra 12. There's another verse here. So here the pseudo-religionists have neither knowledge nor detachment from material affairs, but for most of them want to live in golden shackles of material bondage under the shadow of philanthropic activity discussed as religious principles. By a false display of religious sentiment, They present a show of devotional service while indulging in all sorts of immoral activities. In this way, they pass as spiritual masters and devotees of God. Such violators of religious principle have no respect for the authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in strict disciplic succession. They ignore the Vedic injunction, Acharya Upasanam, one must worship the Acharya, and Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara-praptam. The supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession. Instead, to mislead the people in general, they themselves become so-called Acharyas, but they do not even follow the principles of Acharya. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in human society because there is no religious government. They escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in Bhagavad Gita that envious demons in the garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest regions of hell. Sri Upanishad confirmed that the pseudo-religionists are heading towards the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master's business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification. So, it's a very heavy statement. Srila Prabhupada has written that we should be very, very cautious that, that we stay on safe sides. Now, of course, there's another question everyone raised, that how do we know that Srila Prabhupada is accepting our service? How do we know? Right, before I go to that, I would like to also go to this verse in 297 to 98. I'll go to this in the Bhagavatam. It speaks about, the Lord Brahma speaks about how the Vani is so important, the sound vibration. Sound vibration is not lost because the vibrator may not be seen. Lord Brahma heard the occult sound was tapa, but he did not see the person who vibrated the sound, and still he accepted the instruction as beneficial for him. And therefore he engaged himself in meditating for 1,000 celestial years. There's no difference between the Lord and sound vibration coming from him, even though he is not personally present. That is exactly the case. Srila Prabhupada may not be physically be there, but there's no difference between the sound vibration from these books, his tapes, his letters, so many things. The best way of understanding is to accept such divine instruction, and Brahma, the prime spiritual master, everyone, is the living example of this process of receiving transcendental knowledge. So again, Prabhupada is saying that Brahma, Lord Brahma, is the prime spiritual master of everyone, is a living example of this process. So what more better example we can choose? So the potency of the sound, again, very important point, the potency of the sound is never minimized because the vibrator is apparently absent. See this point? So we cannot say that because Prabhupada is dead and gone, therefore his whole thing is useless. This is a big offense to an Acharya, because if you start saying like that, then you are actually transgressing this verse. I'm going to get you this verse. So in this verse, you can see here, when we start seeing that the Acharya is a mundane person, this is very offensive. Acharya mam vijanayam nava avamanyeta karichit. Na martye, you can see this word na martye. Martya means you use for someone who dies. Martya means Martya Loka Vishanti in the Bhagavad Gita. Martya means a place where birth and death takes place. Now, spiritual master is never considered as an ordinary person who dies like anyone. So if you say that Prabhupada is dead and gone, then you're committing a very big offense. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him as an ordinary man, but the representative of all the demigods. It's very, 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 very offensive when you say things like that. Then your spiritual life will be damaged. Another thing we have to also know that Srila Prabhupada is the current link. Sometimes they say, sometimes they argue that if you say like this, then you can jump over Prabhupada and you can go to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the six Goswamis or, many things you can say. Again, to qualify that, Srila Prabhupada says here, so as already stated, Brahma is the original spiritual master for the universe, and since he was initiated by the Lord himself, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam is coming down. By disciplic succession, in order to receive the real message of the Srimad Bhagavatam, here, one should approach the current link of spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession. After being initiated by the proper spiritual master, in that chain of succession, one should engage himself in the discharge of tapasya and the execution of devotional service. You understand? We cannot try to think that we can supersede and jump, above. Here, in this case, we have been asked by Prabhupada to connect ourselves to him. It is not that we are jumping over. No, we are actually been ordered to accept the Ritvik system of initiation that was so kindly given by Srila Prabhupada for our spiritual advancement. Now again, coming to another point, that how do you know that Prabhupada, how do we know that this system of initiation is bona fide? Sastrically. So we will take you now to another verse. It's very, very, again, important verse from the Bhagavatam. O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as a desiratory vancha kalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of design, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross, and because you are merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. Very important point. Prabhupada has left behind a system, and it's our duty to accept them because Prabhupada is given to us. And because Prabhupada is very dear to Krishna to help us accept that method. If Krishna accepts this method, then who on earth can deny and challenge that? This is simply ludicrous. The statement reveals how the merciful Acharyas and the merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead together help the serious devotee want to return home back to Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his teachings, Rupa Goswami said, Ramanda Bhamatakona Bhagyavanji, Guru Krishna Prasada Paya, Bhakti Lata Beach. One can achieve the seed of bhakti, devotional service, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The duty of the Guru is to find the means according to time, circumstance, and candidate by which one can be induced to render devotional service, which Krishna accepts. From a candidate who wants to be successful in going home back to Godhead. After wandering throughout the universe, a fortunate person within the material world seeks shelter of such a Guru or Acharya who trains the devotee in the suitable way to render service according to the circumstances, so that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will accept this service. This makes it easier for the candidate to reach the ultimate destination. Acharya's duty, therefore, is to find the means by which devotees may render service according to the preference from Sastra. Rupa Goswami, for example, in order to help subsequent devotees publish such devotional books as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, thus it is the duty of the Acharya to publish books that will help future candidates take up the method of service and become eligible to return home back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. In our Krishna conscious movement, the same path is being prescribed and followed. Thus the devotees, now I want to highlight this, thus the devotees have been advised to refrain from 4 sinful activities: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling, and to chant 16 rounds a day. These are bona fide instructions. These are bona fide instructions. Again, 16 rounds is bona fide. If 16 rounds are bona fide, as here Prabhupada is saying, because 16 rounds is not said in any scripture here there. This is given by Prabhupada. Shall read on. Because in the Western countries, constant chanting is not possible. One should not artificially imitate Haridas Thakur, but should follow this method. Krishna will accept a devotee who strictly follows the regulative principle and method prescribed in the various books and literature published by the authorities. Acharya gives the suitable method for crossing the ocean of Nisan by accepting the boat of the Lord's lotus feet. And if this method is strictly followed, the followers will ultimately reach the destination by the grace of the Lord. This method is called Acharya Sampradaya. Another new word that Prabhupada has introduced. Acharya Sampradaya means Acharya in the Sampradaya. It is therefore said, Sampradaya vina hemanta te nispalahamataha patmapuram. Acharya Sampradaya is strictly bona fide. Therefore, one must accept the Acharya Sampradaya. Otherwise, one endeavor will be futile. Srila Narottam Das Thakur Singh, Tandera Charane Seva Bhaktasane Vas, Janame Janame Hoy E Abhilas. One must worship the lotus feet of the Acharya and live within the society of devotees, and one's endeavor to cross over Nisan will be surely successful. Now, in this letter, in this purport, Prabhupada qualified himself as the Acharya Sampradaya. In other words, he is an Acharya in the Sampradaya, authorized to make, 16 rounds, to chant 16 rounds. And if he is given 16 rounds, which is bona fide as he claimed, then why this Ritvik system of initiation that he has so kindly given to us be unbona fide? If you accept the 16 rounds, then the system of initiation should be similarly be accepted without any things, devotion and realization, and he will be able to get detachment from sinful activities. He will get the strength. So that is the symptom of one who is actually being favored by Prabhupada and Krishna. So how do we know? If we can follow this very strictly means we have been blessed. That is the meaning of this. So how you know that Prabhupada is pleased? Following this, then you are pleased. Now further to justify this point, we will go to another verse here. You can see. And this verse, you can see here, as long as one has to accept a material body with its different parts and paraphernalia, which is not fully under one's control, one must have the lotus feet of his superior, namely his spiritual master and the spiritual master successors. By their mercy, one can sharpen the sword of knowledge, and with the power of the Supreme Personality of God's mercy, one must then conquer the enemies mentioned above. In this way, the devotee should be able to merge into his own transcendental bliss, and then he may give up his body and assume his spiritual identity. Now, what is this all about? Here it says, in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, the Lord says, Janma karma jami divyam evam yogeti tattvataha tyaktadeham punarjanma naite mameti sojuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna, this is the highest perfection of life, and the human body is meant for this purpose. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, the human body is most valuable boat, and the spiritual master is the captain, Guru, Karnadharam, who guides the boat, implying cross the ocean on his side. The instruction of the king of Krishna is a favorable breeze. One must use all this facility to cross over the ocean on his side. Since the spiritual master, the captain, one must serve the spiritual master very sincerely, so that by his mercy, one will be able to get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The word here, significant word, is Achyutabhala. The spiritual master is certainly very merciful to his disciple, and consequently, by satisfying a devotee, gets strength from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very important. So when we serve, please the spiritual master, Krishna gives the strength to overcome Maya, overcome, this, to practice very, very sincerely, and get strength to overcome not breaking the four principles and chanting 16 rounds. So Sri Chaitanya, personality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Guru Krishna Paya Bhakti Latta Beach. One must first please the spiritual master, and then one automatically pleases Krishna and gets the strength with which to cross the ocean of Nissan. If one seriously desires to return home back to Godhead, one must therefore become strong enough by pleasing the spiritual master, for thus one gets the weapon with which to conquer the enemy. One who gets the grace of Krishna, simply getting the weapon of Gyan is insufficient. One must sharpen the weapon by serving the spiritual master, adhering to his instruction. Then the candidate will get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In general warfare, one must take help from his chariot and horses in order to conquer his enemy, and after conquering the enemy, he may give up the chariot and his paraphernalia. Similarly, as long as one has a human body, one should fully utilize it to obtain the highest perfection of life, merely going home back to Godhead. The perfection of knowledge is certainly to become transcendentally situated. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful, and never laments nor desires to have anything, and is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service. Simply by cultivating knowledge, as the impersonalists do, one cannot get out of the clutches of mind. One must attain the platform of bhakti. So, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is only by devotional service. And then when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Unless one has attained stage of devotional service and the mercy of the spiritual master, there's no possibility that one may fall down again. There is possibility that one may fall down again, except a material body. Therefore, Krishna stressed in the Bhagavad Gita. So here, Krishna is stressing, if one neglects to serve the lotus feet of Krishna, one cannot become free from the material clutches simply by knowledge. Even if one attains the stage of Brahmapadam, merging in Brahman, without bhakti is prone to fall down. One must be very careful to regard to the danger of falling down again in the material bondage. The only insurance is to come to the stage of bhakti from which one is sure not to fall. See, then one is free from the activities of material world. In summary, as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one must get in touch with the bona fide spiritual master coming in the parampara of Krishna consciousness. For by his mercy and instruction, one is able to get strength from Krishna. Thus one engages in devotional service and attain the ultimate goal of life, the lotus feet of Vishnu. Significant in this was the word Jnanasin or Achyutabhala. Jnanasin, the word sword of knowledge is given by Krishna. When one serves Guru and Krishna in order to hold the sword of his Krishna instruction, Balaram gives one strength. Balaram is Nityananda. Brajendra Nandana Jay Sachizuta Hoilo Se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. The Balaram comes with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and both of them are so merciful. In this age of Kali, one They very easily take shelter of their lotus feet. They have come especially to deliver the fallen soul of this age. Papi tapi yata chilo harinama udarilo. Their weapon is Sankirtan Harinam, as one should accept the sword of knowledge from Krishna and be strong with the mercy of Balaram. They are therefore worshipping Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. In the Upanishad it is said, one can attain the goal of life without the mercy. One cannot attain the goal of life without the mercy of Balaram. Sri Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Nityera Charana Karuna Hobe Virja Radha Krishna Pabe. When one receives the mercy of Balaram, Nityananda, one can attain the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna very easily. If one has no connection with Nitai Balaram, then even though one is very learned scholar of Jnani, or has taken birth in a very respectful family, then this access will not help him. He must therefore conquer the enemies of Krishna consciousness with strength received from Balaram. So here's the point. So if you are actually practicing the rules and regulations properly and chanting 16 rounds, means you are getting the mercy of Prabhupada. That means you are getting strength from Krishna. So this is the test of how you are actually getting the mercy of the spiritual master. So, we have covered pretty much most of the subject here. Now, one more point before we wrap up. When an Acharya comes following the superior order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative, he established the principle of religion as enunciated in Bhagavad Gita. Religion means abiding by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Religious principles begin from time one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the Acharya's duty to spread the bona fide religious system and induce everyone to bow down before the Supreme Lord. One executes the religious principle by rendering devotional service, specifically the 9 items like hearing, chanting, and remembering. Unfortunately, when the Acharya disappeared, rogue and non-devotees take advantage and immediately began to introduce unauthorized principles in the name of so-called swamis, yogis, philanthropists, welfare workers, and so on. Actually, human life is meant for executing the orders of Supreme Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Engage your mind always in thinking of me and become my devotee, of obeisance and worship me, being completely absorbed, and surely you will come to me. The main business of human society to think of the Supreme Personality of God at all times, to become his devotee, to worship the Supreme Lord and bow down before him. Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, established this principle, but when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master. At the present moment, practically the entire world is afraid of rogues and non-devotees. Therefore, the Krishna conscious movement started to save the world from irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with this movement in order to bring about actual peace and happiness in the world. So here's a very important point that Prabhupada is, not physically present, but many so-called rogues and thieves have taken advantage of the movement and making it a mess. So this is a very important point. Now another last point that we want to highlight. If someone does not want to accept this, he who discards scriptural injunction and acts according to his own whims attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So we are again appealing to everyone to be very careful with one's spiritual life. It is not a sentimental thing that one just does this whimsically. He has to have thorough understanding and thorough knowledge by Shastra, by Sadhu and Guru, the method of initiation that Prabhupada so kindly ordered us to carry on and not deviate from it, because if we deviate, then you can see what's happening. The mind is like an impetus horse that even persons who have regulated their senses and breath cannot control. Those in this world who try to tame the uncontrolled mind but who abandon the feet of the spiritual master encounter hundreds of obstacles in this cultivation of various distressful practices. Oh, unborn Lord, they are like merchants on a boat in the ocean who have failed to employ a helmsman. So if we disregard Sastric injunctions and the spiritual master's lotus feet, then we're going to encounter hundreds of obstacles in the cultivation of various distressful practices. So be very careful. Shastra we have to follow, otherwise we cannot get perfection, cannot get peace, nor the supreme destination. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.